Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, LoneStarMobiles.com. Sunday fun day, cooling off here in the shop, and we've got something that's a bit overdue for you. Kind of been waiting until I could get green lighted to do this, but we need to talk about Ernst, and we need to talk about socket storage solutions. I've painstakingly drug out all kinds of stuff just for this video, and if I can figure out where I sat it, we'll get started. We're going to bring out some old friends here, right? This Capri socket set, 3H drive, right? We got shallow, semi-deep, and deep. This is pretty comprehensive, 5/16 all the way up to 1 inch. Looks amazing, black and orange, I know. This is from the Koken cart, if you will. So, color scheme there, for the most part, orange SAE, green metric. I can do that thanks to Ernst and their color offerings. Now, you think 18 inches, man, that's a little too big for what I'm doing. I just have like some small chrome socket, 7 to 19. That would be a lot of wasted space, and I don't want to have something else on the same rail. Size down, we can come in and we will pick up Ernst 13-inch 3-row. This is Koken 12-point, again shallow, semi-deep, and deep. In this case, green. What does that tell you? With my system, we're using metric 8 to 19, no skips. This is a good example of Ernst's 18-inch and 13-inch, right? 18-inch rail, 13-inch rail. Tray is going to be slightly larger. And if you recall back, what we'd started doing was creating our own custom-sized socket bosses, not just rails, but the actual tray that the rails clip into. A big reason for that is what you see here. You think, that's not orange or green, buddy. Yeah, this came from VHA this way. This goes way back now, probably like 2016, 17, somewhere in there. Time flies. But this is an Ernst socket boss rail. Instead of having the twist lock clips, this actually is a good example of the Duralock. You can kind of see there. This is, instead of twisting, it's just on and off. I've had these on and off many times. I've yet to have one fail. Fantastic. What if you bought several bit sets? Like say you were confident in VHA and at the time they were shipping them this way. What if you wound up with like 2 of these? You had this size Torx and maybe a little bit taller. Maybe you had hex and ball end hex, or maybe hex in multiple sizes, right? You might think, man, one of these trays would be great. Well, you would have had to have moved these to a 13-inch, or, put your short Torx here beside the long Torx, or short Torx with short metric hex with, taller hex and metric, whatever floats your boat. There was no 8-inch tray. Testimony to that is the insane litany number of times we have come in and created something one-off and something custom. Right here from Ernst, we have this. And you're like, that's blue, that's not orange or green either. Well, this is Koken 3/8 12-point shallow, semi-deep, and deep. Essentially mirrors this. It's a 1/4 to 3/4 if I'm thinking correctly. These are special rails. In fact, if I crack this one off, I'll show you why. They're magnetic. These are absurdly strong. They are picking up through the mat. The mat is thick rubber. Now, discerning eyes might notice something. This is offset a little. Now, there's also part lines there. I made this. Ernst at the time did not have an 8-inch tray. Okay, if I set that down, drop that there. You got to realize I only have so much real estate here. We made this. This is Koken hex bits, right? Shallow and like 50 millimeter or something. Nice little deal. That said, we had to cut the orange rail down. We had to cut the tray down. This time, that's cardboard, sadly, and epoxy residue. I've done everything from cutting and plastic welding to getting better at plastic welding to doing epoxy and deciding the epoxy was the way to go. Right here, you can see I even got to where like I centered everything, and so it's multiple surgical cuts and part lines and everything. I've done all the math, have it all figured out. I was real happy, rocking and rolling, releasing videos on it, and lo and behold, one day I get an email, not from Ernst, but from Tekton, and they were advertising an 8-inch rail and tray. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, 8-inch rail, not a big deal. The tray is a big deal. That doesn't exist. And so, of course, if you didn't know, if you like Tekton, there's so many people that don't still get this. Yes, if you buy this from Tekton, you're going to not see Ernst, you will see Tekton. The OEM is Ernst. It's 100% made in America by Ernst. Tekton selected Ernst to partner with. It works out well for both companies. Tekton gets a cool socket storage solution. You get trays that say Tekton. Now, the coolest thing, if you're like some color snob or have to diversify, you know, through Tekton you can get the gray rails. I've showcased those. I've got some proto stubbies on them. That's basically what I use my Tekton reward bucks for, which I got notice they expire in 60 days. So here before long you'll see me with another Tekton haul and part. Because I'm going to come in and buy another gray rail. But the Tekton stuff, yes, I know it'll say Tekton, but it's made by Ernst. All right. So with that out of the way, they kind of had the same mindset I did, and some of you might have had, like, man, you know, these 8-inch rails are great. Like, you know, I don't need a 13-inch. I certainly don't need an 18-inch. I'd rather just have torques, you know, and call it a day in a compact footprint in this manner. Some people, you know, you're like, no, I'd rather just line them all up on one 18-inch rail and then do the same thing behind it. Different strokes for different folks. I'm the type, this is sheer aesthetic perfection to me, right? Short, medium, tall, right? Small, medium, large. Everything is just ascending. You know, happy energy and vibes, right? Going skyward for everyone to enjoy. However you want to look at it, this is what I like. If you're like me, you might run into a situation where if these are your Torx bits and you have a complementary set that's security Torx, and then maybe you have standard Torx that are, you know, twice as tall, you do not need the 13 inches, all right? You would need an 8-inch, and you're like, man, I wish I could get that 8-inch tray. And they're now available. It's officially available. This right here, Koken nut grip. What have I done? The 3/8 is on an extension over there. But again, surgically cut, epoxied. I got pretty good at this, right, over time. Now, there are some things where 8-inch does not quite cut it for me. I'm like, man, I need that to be just a little bit longer. Like a 10-inch would be really cool. So we've done some things like this, where if I set this down right on top of the 13-inch, you'll note there's some real estate there. If I come in with this one, the 8-inch we just had, you'll note there's some real estate there. This is lined up a little bit better. So this is a full-on custom 10-inch, right? You're still not going to get this ridiculous custom stuff, but most of you aren't cutting down Ernst rails doing what I do. If you do, you have an ace in the hole with the 8-inch tray. For the average person that does not go to these absurd lengths some of us go to, the 8-inch socket rails now have an 8-inch tray, and it is an absolutely beautiful pairing. So, a little bit of a background change for you as we cleared some space. What Ernst has done is unleash 8-inch trays in both 2-row and 3-row configuration, hence why we pulled out the 3 rows. Still, to this date, they offer the 8-inch rails in 2 different styles and 3 different colors. You're going to have black, you're going to have blue, and you're going to have red. Past that, you have a standard rail and you have a magnetic iteration. Magnet is available in all 3 colors. And again, now being able to pair that with the tray is a killer, awesome thing. So I'm going to attempt to walk you through some of what Ernst was gracious enough to send out to us. And I tell you, it is nice seeing something that doesn't have epoxy or weld on the bottom. But right here, we have got blue. We have got red. If I set this off to the side. I did not get black. My apologies for those of you that go that route. And then here we've got the 3 rows. This was the best way I could think to showcase these. I'm not sure it's going to line up quite like I'd like it to, but we'll do that. Close enough, right? You trust me that it's 2, 2, 3, and 3. So this is awesome. For the average person, okay, like the 8-inch, maybe you need slightly longer and the 13 is overkill. You'll have to work around it, okay, or do something custom. For like 90+% of people though, 8, 13, and 18, you're covered from like a tiny hex bit set, maybe security bits or Torx like the VHA stuff. Wow. If only you could have seen what happened. But something like this is literally plug and play right here. Super, super cool. Again, these are the updated rails that have the Ernst branding. In my opinion, it looks better that way. I like the splash of color. But this stuff, as with everything, made in America, but it's stupid affordable. So I'm going to walk you through this. A 2-row tray that you see here and here. Let's say you've got 8-inch rails already like the VHA, or maybe you've got some magnetic ones for your universal sockets like I do. This would be your ticket. If you have 1/4 and 3/8 universals in chrome, boom, you've got a tray now. Super nice. This tray, $6.25. Let's say you've got 1/4, 3/8, and just a couple 1/2-inch chromies, okay, and universal sockets. You need the 3rd row. $6.95. Basically, 6 and change gets you the 2-row or the 3-row tray. All right. You can come in and buy a populated, I'm talking with the pegs on it, in your choice of 1/4, 3/8, or 1/2, $8.95. Clip count will vary depending on the rail, obviously. $8.95 gets you that. So essentially, if you had 1/4 and 3/8 swivels that you wanted in a tray, but you didn't have the Ernst system, you're looking at $8.95 twice. We'll just call it 9. We're going to round up, make this easy. All right. So we're looking at $18 for your socket rails, and then the tray, $6.25. Sub $25, your universal sockets are now organized and they will stand upright. At work, I went a little hog wild with the magnets, 8-inch rows of magnets. I did that in part because at the time there was no 8-inch tray. I can now put them in a tray, and that's a huge deal. Now, if you want to go magnetic, it is a little bit spendier. You're going to jump from stupid low price of $8.95 to $17.95. So $9 to $18, you're basically doubling it. I absolutely think the magnet is worth it. If you're going to go mobile, if you're frequently going to pop the rail out, or even if you're not going to use the tray and you just want the rails to stay put in your drawer. I have rocked, I don't even know how many of them. There's probably 4 to 6 8-inch magnetic ones. And I just open and close, and they never go anywhere. They're holding proto universals, some Koken nut grips. Seems like I've got some Pittsburgh hex bit sockets on there, and it's just things that wouldn't really pair together super well, and they're just lined up in a row, taking up minimal space, and they don't turn over, which is a huge deal. If you came in and you did what I did and you just got rails and stuff, you can get the clips dirt cheap, 1/4, 3/8, and 1/2, 22, 18, and 17 pieces respectively, $5.49. So you can build your own, right? That's essentially what I kind of do sometimes, is just build it my way from the ground up. If you've got the weird Pittsburgh sets that's like 3/8 and 1/2 or 1/4 and 3/8 or whatever, maybe you're going to build out some killer socket adapter, and you're like, okay, wait, I would need 1/4 for the 1/4 to 3/8, a 3/8 for the 3/8 1/4, 3/8 for the 3/8 to 1/2. You know, you smodge podge it. If you want to organize them in that way, if you want everything drive adapter or accessory wise in 1/4 and then 3/8 and then in 1/2, you have the freedom to do whatever you want. That's one of the greatest things with Ernst. It's not pre-populated, it's not pre-filled. You do you. It's a beautiful system. Again, if you're a Tekton person and you were like, man, you know, I have all these 8-inch rails, I wish I had a tray, you can get them through Tekton too. They will say Tekton instead of Ernst, but it is the same thing so many times. I don't know how people don't piece this together, but it's just private labeled. Tekton was like, I really like this Ernst stuff, and they're going to get a ton of it, and they're going to package it with their sockets. It's one of those cool collaborations. Yeah, we'll put your name on it. And then Tekton's like, you know, we would like gray. And Ernst is like, sure, have gray. If I was coming in and going to produce sockets and I was like, man, I want purple and yellow, if I'm buying enough of them, Ernst is going to offer to do that for me, right? So this is stupid cool. Now, sadly, orange and green that I love so much on the rails are still only offered as 18. And you're like, well, dude, you had 13 and you got 13 inch down there. What are you talking about? Those are cut. Okay. I hope over time Ernst will add the orange and the green and add them in magnetic and complete the lineup and maybe even offer. I still think they need to do polls where it's like, even if it's a limited run and they like stick idiots like me that push for it with some of the unmoved inventory or something. I would love purple. I really, this predates the Mac purple ratchets, but I think purple would be cool. I want some Japanese sockets I've got on purple. It would look killer. Similarly, I think like a straight true yellow would go over well. Some of you want like a teal or a Zet blue. Some of you might want gold. I think that would honestly probably sell. It's not a color I would pick, but I think some people would dig it. If they could do tie-dye, metallics, tigers, you know, all kinds of options. I would do stuff like that just for the heck of it. But what they're doing is safe and it's stupid functional and it is incredibly affordable and it's made in America. I've run their stuff for years and years and years. If you didn't know, if you're thinking like, I'm going to break that with my 3/4 drive stuff, try it. And if you break it, they have a warranty. It's crazy, right? So this is full of win. And again, what I can do now is not have to come in and math out the bottom of a tray, draw it out, saw it, glue it, epoxy it, plastic weld it. If I want a weird length, you know, 10 inch, 12 inch, whatever, sure. If I want to make a huge one, you know, like a 44 inch or something, I can, you know, dabble in that. But 8, 13, 18, that is bread and butter. It's going to fit virtually everything. About the only thing that 18 doesn't house is like industrial sockets. And what I mean by that is like 1/2 inch drive that goes from 1/4 to 1.5 inches. You're not going to be able to fit your big slugs over here, you know. But for your average everyday, you've seen those rails there, you know, like 1/4 to 1 inch. I go bigger than that. I fit them at work. Your 7 to 19, 6 to 19, 1/4 to 3/4, hex, it all fits. It's awesome. And, it looks so good. I do note that they don't have this centered. That kind of bothered me when I was cutting them. And I'm thinking it's probably something in their manufacturing process. It was just easier and more economical and it doesn't really impact anything functionally. Again, if you're unsure how these work, you've got a tab right here that releases a lock. You slide forward and you pop it out. Case in point, if I come down here, a slug right here, magnetic. You know it's different. I'll come in, actually orient it the correct way. And we'll spin this around for your viewing pleasure. I nest this down, and if you watch this here, we'll just slide it over. It's locked. It's that simple, folks. It truly is that simple. It's a beautiful thing. Again, if you had picked up, a lot of you probably did do what I did and bought the 8-inch magnetic. I mean, this is 1/4 to 3/4. That's a perfect fit. Absolutely perfect. Same thing with the nut grip sockets. You can space out the quarters, obviously. Hex, Torx, all that stuff. This VHA set, they picked 8-inch for a reason. It fit perfect, okay? If you have a litany of those, and they're not magnetic, and boom, you open your drawer and they fall and it's annoyed you, get the tray. Problem solved. If you have the magnetic, but you always wish you had the tray so you could grab and carry to your cart or to your work site, whatever it may be, this is the ticket. Super awesome. So simple, but so awesome, so effective. Again, that's why in my custom series videos, I said, man, it is a bittersweet moment. I was just about done custom tailoring everything. Keep in mind, most of it was being cut down to what? 8 inches. It just works. And then it's like, wait, they officially make one now? And I've been out here chopping away 13 and 18-inch trays and gluing them together and plastic welding, and now there's like something that's fun. Look at this. Do you see a seam here? Do you see plastic welding and epoxy and cut? No, you don't. It's beautiful. And, I'm probably going to switch some of what I've done into some of this stuff. So right here, I've got our first little project for you. This will have to revert because it's currently in a drawer that doesn't allow for a height that I would need. But check this out. I'm going to pop this rail. I'm going to come in and pop this rail. Again, this was a custom because, again, I was making this when 8-inch didn't exist. Can you see it? Yes, you totally can, especially with the cardboard I didn't clean off. But, like, look at Ernst version. There's no seams, no glue, no epoxy, no plastic. Some of the plastic welding I did was pretty bad, but I was sort of teaching myself on the fly. What I'm going to do now, again, if you do this long enough, you get pretty good at it, you know. But we'll just pop this out. Keep our red rails. I did request the red. I was like, you know, I haven't really done that. And I kind of try to keep things interesting for people, spice it up a little bit. There's that. Here's this. And you're thinking like, okay, dude, that's really stupid. You don't need that third row. What if I told you I've got this? It's really hard to do kind of one-handed around a tripod, but this is going to be absolutely beautiful. Look at that. It's like a forest of Koken trees on an Ernst 8-inch, keyword 8-inch rail. And what these are, they're like kind of VHA Magic Ring-esque. They have the holding function. And sadly, in the cart, when I have those standing up, they don't clear the drawer. I don't want to put them in the top of the cart because I don't use them that much. But if I can get a drawer that deep, I'm doing this. So I am thrilled. I hope you are too. This is awesome. This is truly awesome. Again, the 8-inch rails are fantastic. They're phenomenal. These are about the only things not on orange that are SAE in that cart. But all that aside, I think I'm running out of time. I want to know your thoughts on this. If you're ecstatic, if you're going to jump out and pick them up, you're like, man, I wish they would have done that sooner. What took so long? If you think, hey, that's awesome, I'm going to pick them up. I agree with this dude. I want purple, or you know what? I'd buy pink. Now keep in mind, Snap-on also uses Ernst, so you might see some additional colors there. Whatever you want to talk about, feel free. I've been wanting to get this made so you know about it, and you don't have to chop things up and glue and plastic weld like I did. But, these are durable, they're economical, they're fully modular and customizable. There's nothing bad you can say. They're even made in America on top of that. But with that said, LoneStarMopars.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a little something. Leave your thoughts down below. If you have not subscribed, I encourage you to do so. If you do that, you ring the bell, you jump your charger across the creek. YouTube just might notify you. We got brand new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, thanks again for watching, and I hope I catch you back for more from the shop.